As a family doctor, I see patients of all ages with sports injuries and repetitive use problems. I'm Dr. Tom Archie, and I'd like to introduce you to the Class 4 cold laser. I often combine laser with acupuncture and physical therapy to enhance the healing of sore tendons, ligaments, and joints. Research indicates the Class 4 cold laser may speed recovery from concussion as well. It's safe and innovative. Visit us at innerhealthmd.com or call 208-578-4550. Family medicine like it used to be, affordable, personal, and looking to the future.
Eye on Sun Valley's Athlete of the Week is brought to you by State Farm Insurance. Patrick Buchanan, agent.
I'm Michael David with Eye on Sun Valley Sports, and it's my honor to be joined by our Athlete of the Week, Community School Junior, Sophia Mazzoni. Sophia, congratulations. Thanks for being with us.
Thank you for having me.
You were selected as Athlete of the Week based on this, frankly, incredible feat that you just accomplished, conquering 9 of the Idaho 12s, 12,000-foot plus peaks in Idaho in less than 4 days. An incredible accomplishment. How did you come up with this idea? Why did you decide to set out on this journey?
It originally started with the OLA program.
The Outdoor Leadership Academy, right?
Yeah.
Right.
And one of the requirements for my skill section that I'm specializing in was to climb 2 of the 12,000-foot peaks.
Right.
And as I started researching, into what are the 12,000-foot peaks, I found out there was Hyman, which I had already climbed.
Right, right.
So I really only had to do one more peak. But when I figured out there was 9, I decided that I wanted to climb all 9 of them.
Okay, so it's evolving. It's going from 2 to 9,
Yeah.
right?
And then, so I started, looking at the routes, seeing, what were the most popular ways to climb up these peaks. And then I came across this blog called I think Summit Post.
Okay.
And I saw how Rob Landis had done it in, a day and some odd hours. And then I was kind of, curious of, how fast could I do it in? And so then it evolved into this process of a 3-day in 7 hours.
Incredible. So I imagine that the planning that went into this was pretty intense too, probably not as intense as the climbs. Describe that kind of that planning process of how you were going to make it happen.
You had to, figure out the routes, but not only figure out the routes, but figure out how to link the peaks together
right.
on some days. The meal plans, figuring out my nutrition, and while I was hiking out there, how I was going to keep myself fueled.
Sure.
And I know my body pretty well, so, having gummy bears for, sugar intake.
Good. That's a good excuse to have gummy bears. Nice.
Oh, for sure.
You deserve that.
Yeah. And Rob Landis helped me a ton with the linking peaks. He helped me link 4 of them together for one of my days.
Right. So you didn't do this alone. You mentioned Rob. Talk about some of the other people that helped you make this happen.
Definitely my family. My mom, she kind of cooked food for us while we were at base camp. And then I had my dad who climbed 4 of them with me.
Great.
One of my ski coaches, Ashley Knox, climbed.
From the Sun Valley Ski Education Foundation.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Climbed one of the peaks with me. And then the day that I did 4 peaks, which included Mount Church, Donaldson, Brighton-Bach, and Lost River Peak.
Okay.
Rob Landis did that with me along with his daughter Annika and Katie Feltman.
A couple other community school graduates that are at Middlebury now, right?
Correct.
So what kind of food was Mom making at the base camp? Tell us about that.
She was making sure I got a ton of carbs in and a lot of protein. So having, chicken and pasta and pesto and
All
things to those
good
effect.
stuff to get you fueled up for the
For sure.
next day. Okay, tell us about that first morning, early morning that you and your dad set out for the first peak. What was your mindset? Were you kind of thinking about all 9 mountains, or were you just taking one 12,000 foot peak at a time?
I was taking it one peak at a time. So the first peak that we did was Diamond,
Mm-hmm.
and on Thursday we went over to Mackey Reservoir, set up our base camp there
Right.
because most of the 12ers are in the Lost River Range.
Sure.
And then we went over to Diamond and we camped at the base of the mountain.
Yep.
And we woke up at 4:15 in the morning and we climbed basically the whole thing up to the summit in dark.
Right. Wow.
So we had headlamps and all that stuff. And we had climbed that beforehand, about 3 weeks.
A little
So
practice climb, right?
Yeah, figure out, where to go and how long it was going to take us. And then previously I'd also climbed Mount Idaho
Mm-hmm.
to figure that one out too.
Right. Right.
So yeah, we climbed up Diamond. It only took about 2.5 hours ish.
Right.
And then we came down and we immediately drove over to Bora because we were nervous of thunderstorms in the afternoon.
Right.
So I got over to Bora and my ski coach, Ashley, climbed that with me, and she was just cruising along. I was in the back just, okay, keep up with her.
Right.
But she had also just had surgery on her hand 2 days beforehand.
Wow.
But she just, hiked like this the whole way to keep it elevated. And
Doctor's orders, right?
Yeah, and she just kept climbing away, and I
That's-
just stayed right behind her.
That's awesome. So what was the most difficult peak of the 9? Was there one that stood out as
I
the most
think
challenging?
Leatherman, which is the second highest,
Mm-hmm.
was hard. That day, that was my second day.
Mm-hmm.
My dad and I climbed Mount Idaho, and then we climbed that up on the west side, and then we basically dropped off down the east side and just kind of went around this little valley to climb back up to Leatherman.
Okay.
And I think just it was a long day.
It was at the end of the day, yeah.
Yeah, we had already climbed Idaho, and then I think my dad was getting a little annoyed with Leatherman just because there's no trail, and he wants to be on a trail. But
So
the
you were
peaks don't
forging
have
it.
trails.
Right.
So he was a little upset with that.
Now, did you have doubts along the way, like, am I going to be able to make it? And if so, like, how did you plow through
I
those?
didn't really have any doubts, except for Leatherman. There was also a call for thunderstorms for afternoon, and we were climbing it in the afternoon.
Right.
By the time we got there, so I see the clouds rolling in. I'm like, okay, we just got to get to the top before,
Yep.
so we can summit and then go down, because it would be a bummer if, it starts lightning.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you've got a lot of factors besides your physical condition that you have to
Yeah.
consider, the weather and the trails or lack of them, everything. Wow,
Yeah.
that's awesome. So tell us about, once you finally finished this, the ninth. You got done with the 9th summit. What were you thinking? What was going through your mind?
Well, so the last summit was Hindman, and I also did that one with my father.
Yep.
And when we started coming down, I decided that I wanted to run down. And so we just started trucking along, running. Eventually, I dropped my dad.
Right.
Because I got in this mode of, okay, I want to, do Hindman in less than 6 hours. So I started running. And when I finished, it felt really good to be done. I'm like, yes, I completed my goal.
Right.
Now I'm starting to feel the soreness.
The pain is setting.
Yeah.
The pain is setting, but you.
When
yeah.
you're in it and you're out in the field,
Yeah.
you're not too, I don't know.
You're not thinking about
I'm
that,
not
right?
thinking about it. I'm thinking about getting to the top, and being safe.
Right.
But then when you get down, you're like, okay, wow, I'm starting to feel, my
Right,
feet
right.
are sore, my quads are
Sure,
gonna
sure.
cramp up soon.
What was the recovery like after? Did it take a couple days for you to get back to 100%?
I took a day off, and then
Good for
I'm
you.
starting to ease back into training.
Right.
So I went for a run, which was not the smartest move. I was like, oh.
Get back on that horse,
Yeah,
right?
feels
Okay, so now, congratulations on that. That's
Thank
such an
you.
amazing accomplishment. Now we're back at lowly 5,400 feet, and I know that you're not just a mountain climber, and I know there's no mountain climbing team at school. So, but you're an accomplished track and field and cross country runner, and you're also a very good Nordic ski racer. So tell us a little bit about what your fall and winter academic and athletic schedule looks like.
Yeah, so school starting next week, and
Back to school.
Yep, and then we'll definitely start going into cross country running training a little bit, but for the most part, Nordic skiing is my main sport.
Yep.
So I focus on that, and at the community school, Rick Capalla, who's the director
Right.
for the cross country team, he also does. He's head of the running team
Okay.
at community school. So for us Nordic skiers, we mostly train Nordic skiing, but we do go to the meets for running, and
Right.
we're in pretty good shape. We roller ski, we run for practices, so it's kind of just a mixture of both.
And they all fit in great with all
Great
of your
cross
endeavors.
training.
Sure, sure. Well, congratulations. I know you competed in the state, in the track and field, the state championships last year as a sophomore. So we're expecting some big things out of you this year and in your senior year as well.
Yeah, I'm excited for track. I run the 32, the 1600, and the 800, which is the 2 mile, the 1 mile, and the 8. And
That's kids play after 9 summits of 12,000 foot peaks, right?
yeah, no, it's still hard. You're still going as hard as possible. My goal is always to just keep self-improving and.
That's fantastic. Well, it's so great to have you on here, and hopefully we'll have you on again to talk about maybe track and field and cross country and Nordic skiing as well. My guest has been Sophia Mazzoni from the community school. I want to thank our sponsors for making Athlete of the Week possible. We got Patrick Buchanan from State Farm Insurance, Sun Valley Associates, a tradition of excellence since 1962, and Dr. Tom Archie with Inner Health MD, family medicine the way it used to be. I'm Michael David with Eye on Sun Valley Sports, keeping my eye on Wood River Valley sports and Wood River Valley Mountaineers for you.
Eye on Sun Valley, daily local news from beautiful Sun Valley, Idaho.